What's up everyone and welcome back to a new video. It's Wolf Bricks and I have a long and anticipated video. We got Devastator version 2. Let's get right into it. As you can see, we got them all displayed on a very nice looking pit of sand. Just kind of scattered about. And yeah, so let's just look at each of them individually. So here is Mixmaster. He is a Mack Granite GU 713 cement truck. As you can see, looks pretty good. Still got his proper license plate. The drum's kind of a bit colorful, but we'll ignore that. And also you can see it's kind of sticking out back here. It's not the best vehicle mode ever. It's not elegant in any way, shape, or form. But it gets the job done, reduces parts forming count, and it looks pretty nice. I got the spare wheel here still. Stripes, Mustang sort of thing. But he's a lot more sturdy this time around, and he's a lot more tedious to get into truck mode because of this head. But, okay, for comparison, let's just put him over there. Here's with IX rollout. IX is Mixmaster. Very, very small boy. Here he is with minifigure. You can see, not that big. And something next to my larger builds. Here he is with Jazz. As you can see, it's probably about like a very small deluxe. Let's move on to the next one. So here is Lawn Haul, and he is a green Caterpillar 773V dump truck, and he looks okay. He is sort of a mess of parts in like the Arno Bliss 98 one. It's a lot of moving parts to get him into be a leg. Also, this is just something I never bothered to fix, but these tires are slightly misaligned. But yeah, it's kind of delicate, weak, but relatively sturdy. Looks okay. Just kind of wish this didn't bulge out as much. But he looks pretty good from the side view, just maybe the wheels are a little small. Yeah, just a little hard to get all the parts aligned, but beside that, it's pretty good. I like this one. And yeah, you get the idea. Okay, let's move on to the, actually wait, before we do, I just remembered. Here's with the IX Rollout IX Lawn Haul. An absolute midget compared to this thing. Minifigure. And we're going to be entertaining Jazz and Flat back here. Yeah, that's how they look. As you can see, once again, Lawn Haul. Small. Probably better again with a deluxe scale. Oh, he's falling apart. Here we have another dump truck. We got Payload, and he is a yellow Caterpillar 773B dump truck, and looking a lot better than Lawn Haul. Still not great, but better. As you can see, we got this little piece right here sticking out. That's not for anything, it's just had no space. You can see I got the detail here. Not really, it's just because of the way it transforms. We got this ugly combiner board up here. For the most part, Payload still retains his very clean look. Not as nice as the original, but still very, very nice looking. And of course, we got ourselves some sand. Just this will cooperate. Slide the sand in there, and it can fall out. So yeah, you have sand in there. Looks pretty cool. I like it. On to the next. Wait, actually, I keep forgetting comparisons. Now, IX Rolls didn't have a payload, so here he is with Lawn Haul. See, really small once again. Minifigure. Not that big. And then with Jazz, as you can see, it's pretty small. I'd say maybe Legends scale. Maybe. I don't know entirely sure this scale thing works. But let's move on to the next one. Now we're really dialing it back with an actual Legend scale transformer. And let's hope we get his name right this time. This is Skipjack. He's a yellow M930 bulldozer. I called it MP30 last time. It's M930. But anyways, as you can see here, he's just lost the grill thing because now he has this flap here. I don't have the correct color to make it black, but I think that's okay. As you can see, the cabin's closed up this time. Got the blades here. They're not as splayed out this time. It's for transformation. The blade and treads have not changed at all. And if you decide to dismember, this damages these treads, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. The blade does move up and down a little bit, and that's about it. For comparison, here he is with the IX Rollout IX Skipjack, and they're about the same size. His is like really oversized and is based on a completely different model from what it should be. Not to criticize him, it's a good build. Here's with minifigure. And this kind of mutilated truck at this point. Yeah, there he is with flat back. I'm on the back there. On to the next one. So here we have Scrapper, who once again I got his vehicle motor on back in my original video. He is a 992D or Caterpillar 992D front end loader. So yeah. And he looks pretty good if you ask me. I got the hydraulic here this time. He doesn't look as awkward and weird. He actually looks like a front end loader. This part here could probably be a bit bulkier. I still got the gappy middle. Got the bucket. It's looking good. Not much has changed there. Come to the sides here, we got these parts here which help make that curve like the staircase. And if you come back here, we got a little bit of grill detail and also this massive combiner port just chilling out back here in these panels. But that's okay. He looks pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with it. He went through many rough stages. You checked on my Twitter, the original version looked kind of awkward, or like a combine. But anyways, here he is with IX Road. IX's Scrapper. Very small once again. Here he is with a minifigure who's standing backwards apparently. Here he is with Jazz, which once again, I think this is about a deluxe scale figure. Oh, I broke something out, that's okay. But anyways, you can see comparisons there. I might have been moving too fast, it's okay. On to the next one. Okay, so here we have Scrap Metal, whose treads misaligned, but anyways. He looks amazing. I like the Scrap Metal. So this time I actually got a proper joint here to keep this part of the arm in place, but the rest of the arm still articulates. This can still open up. As you can see, the whole excavator is just a whole lot bulkier and has that rounded back piece. You can see the combiner port here is hidden a lot better than it was in Scrapper. You can see we got the treads here. And once again, this does damage it, sadly, but it looks pretty good. I'm okay with that. And that's how he looks, and you can also take the middle bar, just have it stud it in, if I can do this. You just want to stud it in right there, just collapse all that. And there you go. That is Scrap Metal. I forgot something. He is a Volvo EC700 crawler, or Volvo EC700C crawler crane excavator with a Stanley UP45SV universal processor attachment. Stupid long name. Anyways, who are we going to compare him with? Let's go Scrapper again. As you can see, they're about a similar size. There he is with minifigure. And here he is with flatback. As you can see, once again, just tiny. Could be plop like right there. Maybe like a core class figure. I'm not entirely sure. Here we have Hightower, who is a Coleco CK2500 crawler crane, and he looks so much better this time around. Not the skinny little body he had, and not these tiny, much of the treads haven't changed. But yeah, I got the counterweights in this time that actually look like counterweights. It's got all the crane struts and all that's a lot taller. Got a nice design here for the main arm. And this chunk here does articulate. Yeah, so this chunk here moves. I can get it to move up and down. This chunk here moves a little bit. This moves. And if you want to like play with this thing, you're gonna want to raise up this piece, shift this little thing out to the side, and then you're gonna want to just rotate this. Yeah. So you can just move the crane up and down. You have to give it a little tug as you're doing this. And yeah, that's Hightower. He's looking pretty good. And here he is with the IX rollout version. I don't have the treads on this one, but that's okay. See, it's small, very small. Then again, that's how IX rollouts is. So minifigure. And here he is with Jazz, which once again, I'm not entirely sure the scale of this would be. I think maybe deluxe. Let's move on to the next one then. So here we have Buckethead, and we've zoomed in the camera again. As you can see, very small. And he hasn't changed too much from just looks, but structurally he is quite different. and his hand mode's a little more accurate. But yeah, I like the way this one turned out. It just like, it's very simple, and weirdly enough, the original Rampage design ended up sticking with this guy longer than it did. Or no, the original Skipjack design stuck with this guy then longer than it did Skipjack. Yeah, he is a yellow M930 bulldozer, just with a scooper shovel attachment. And that's the only difference. Anyways, let's get some comparisons in here. Now this time I'm going to compare him with another one. Skipjack, just because they're so similar. They look pretty cool together. Here he is with Rampage. Or Skipjack, I mean. I keep saying Rampage. And here he is with, again, a mutilated truck. Keep hitting it against things. It's tiny. Very, very tiny. Anyways, on to the next. And here we have the mammoth himself, Scavenger, who is huge and big, and I love it. And as you can see, he's just massive. He's got rolling treads still. Just this time it's still like link treads. You can see I got the stripe going down the wall. It kind of breaks up here, but I don't have the parts for that at the time. Or still. Stripe continues throughout the back, all through the whole thing. You can see we got these panels here sticking out. Couldn't do much about that. You can see it's very compact up there. The cabin here, it's got a nice window. Got a little window there as well. Said he can roll, and he is articulated. The bucket can move a little bit right here, can move right there, can move at this joint here. The bucket can actually move itself. So as you can see, not much in terms of articulation has changed, but in size, he is huge. So let's just put him like right there. Let's get him next to the IX rollout Scavenger, which, yeah, this is a huge difference. And actually, weirdly enough, he's the most out of scale of all the constructicons. He's supposed to be bigger. As you can see, he's puny, very, very small. Comes with only his treads. That's how high Mixmaster's supposed to be compared to this guy. For reference. Here he is with a minifigure, who's also about the height of the treads. And with Jazz. So I honestly say this is probably a Voyager. He's just huge. Kind of wish I had some of the original Twisted Friends, but I don't have any of them. So guys, I forgot something. Scavenger here is a red ONK RH400 mining excavator. That's something I don't forget for some reason. Last and definitely not least, we have Overload, who looks a million times better aside color coordination. That kind of just died here. He has gone through several updates as I was building this, and it just changed all the time. As you can see, we got the proper white cab this time. Got just the grill, the lights, some guard railing. Got the smokestack back here. And then we got the trailer, which can articulate still. Although sadly, there's this ugly combiner port right here. Then we also got wheels. Oh. And he is a red Komatsu HD465-7 articulated dump truck. But anyways, that is it for Overload. So let's get some comparisons in. IX Reload, Overload. I don't know which one I like better, they're both kind of equal. I actually gave that one a white cab when it's supposed to be black. So I made that mistake. But anyways, we'll ignore that mistake. And we'll compare him with a minifigure. He looks pretty good next to that as well. And then of course, one last comparison here with Flatback. You can see the deluxe class once again. So let's move on to the next one. Let's transform Skipjack. So first thing we're gonna do here is bring up this thing right up here. So chunk here is gonna rotate up. So makes a lot of noises. This is just gonna fold in right there. And then this hinge here in the middle is gonna rotate all of this up. So this is how you want it looking so far. This is how you want the body to look. So next thing we're gonna do is spin the treads around until about right here. You want it to be kind of lined up like with that part right there. Take the blade, rotate it back. So yeah, that's how that's gonna look. The blade's just gonna sit right back here. We're gonna bend the blade back so that we can bend all of this. This is going to come down at an angle. This plate's going to come here and just tab in to the back of the blade. Get him flat-footed. Nice and sturdy-like. And now you have Rampage foot mode. If the camera will focus. There we go. Okay. And here he is with AX rollouts, Rampage. There. Okay, let's transform Lawn Hall now, who's a little more complex. What we're going to start here is bring up the combiner port. Then we're going to want to just pull out these side panels. No, wait, we want to raise up these chunks here. So let's come over to this side as well, raise these up, that's very important. So now we can start to break apart the bed. And then what we're going to do next is flip this part down. And we're just going to separate these two chunks, say that in right there. We're going to pull this wheel assembly down. Oh, yep, this is kind of weak. So I want to rotate this up for now. So this is how it's looking so far. Sorry if it's a little hard to follow, but this guy's really complex. So you want to rotate this up. These wheels will just jam in there for now. Then bring this up. Bring this up. Now this next step is very important. So you're going to rotate this to where this wider side, so the side here that has more pieces on this end, I'm going to rotate it this way. So if you don't do this, then the transformation is not going to work. So this side here, the narrow side, that's going to be on the outside, this is going to be on the inside. So what we're going to do next is take the one on this side. We're just going to rotate this. Then we should be able to... Wait, no, I messed up. Oh. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is come to this side first. So let's just try move all this junk out of the way, like that. So I want to start by moving this piece out of the way. Do not want that to happen. For some reason, I can't get this connection to stay tight for me. I don't know why. Okay, let's give this one more try. One more try. Rotate that around. So the back side that it has inverted studs and the poking out end, and then this will be able to just swing inwards. This foot can also come down. I know that's really complex, but this is the only way I can figure it out. So you can also bring down this panel. It took me forever to figure out that's how it worked, because I wasn't entirely sure this transformed when I first made it. I knew it was possible, but I couldn't figure it out for the longest time. Okay, so what we're going to do next is just take this, and I'm making sure all these parts are out of the way. Oh. Yeah, this is going to happen to you a lot through this transformation with this guy. I don't know why, I just didn't know what to do with the canopy. The whole section there. Yeah, so we're just going to bend this almost at a full 90-degree bend. It should stop automatically about right there. It's really hard to see, but that's okay. And then what we're going to want to do is just fold these chunks, oh, not that far. You want to fold these about that far in. So, see if I can do it better on this side. I want to just rotate it. There. So it should just be able to stay flat-footed. Okay, so next, we're going to want to just rotate this whole chunk. I want this to be slightly angled like that, and we want to try and straighten it out when it's standing there on its foot, or else everything's going to get knocked out of whack and nothing will properly line up, which is a little bit of a shame, but you know. So next you want to get along this tire here right in front of this joint, and this tire is just going to sit in the side right there. As you can see, that bend there really does help Doesn't allow for too much articulation, but that's okay. And this part here will just lean up right up against that tire. I'm going to come to the back here and just finish this off by rotating the cab. Oh, I need to break that off. Rotating the cab. Oh my goodness! It doesn't break. Okay, no, I'm gonna be serious with you guys. This breaks apart a lot. This cab is not the sturdiest assembly. This part here will break on you so many times. And then you're gonna rotate this chunk here, where it's like that. All of this, if done correctly, should kind of bulk up this section here. It does look kind of dumb, but that's okay. There's Lawn Haul in his lake mode. I think it looks very, very nice. As a comparison, IX rollout, Lawn Haul, lake mode. Again, once again, a lot bigger. So next up we got Payload, and he's relatively simple, a lot simpler than Lawn Haul. So first thing we're going to do is just pull this joint up. I'm going to rotate this whole section up. I'm just going to sit there for now. And this whole cabin here is just going to rotate on this mixel ball joint and just lay back right here. Next thing we're going to do is on this hinge here, just bend it a little bit. Break open that, and so just rotate outwards. And then we're going to take this little assembly right here. It's going to rotate down. This panel is going to rotate up. The camera's on, so everything's going to work. So we're going to rotate this, just shift it into place. And we're just going to rotate everything back. So that's how it should look. And this will just sit right there. This is meant to mimic a little strip of tread, but it doesn't really do too good of a job of that. And this should just need one rotate, and it should be good to go. So there is Payload in his robot mode. Let's see the camera. There. Not robot mode, combined mode. I'm dumb. Okay, next up here we have Overload. And he's relatively simple. Now, only a warning while you're taking Devastator apart, I'd suggest you disconnect Scavenger and Overload, then take off this piece, or else you will literally obliterate everything. Remove the two combiner chunks. So, what I mean is, these two joints right here, just pop these two parts off the characters, or the legs, pop off this piece, tear them apart, and then put them back on, transform them. It's kind of needed, or else you're just going to reduce them to nothing but rubble. Which is kind of a shame, but, you know, sacrifices need to be made. Anyways, to get down to the transformation, I'm going to start by just ratcheting out this set of wheels. Then we're going to just collapse down the waist piece. This will all collapse up. And then this will just rotate. Okay, next. I'm going to come over here and just get your fingernails into these creases. I'll just split. So it's going to hinge forward like that. This part here should all just kind of line up and just clip into there. And then Overload's almost done. We just need to collapse up the smokestack. And that is how he looks in combined mode. Smokestack doesn't make this balance easily. You get the idea. Anyways, so here he is with the IX rollout Overload. So you get an idea of their scale. So now we're getting on here with Scrapper, and this guy was one of the first one I designed, but one of the last ones to be polished up. But we're gonna start with this transformation by just bringing up this piece right here, and this whole hydraulic section will just rotate out of the way. Next, we're going to split the bucket up into 3 chunks. It's going to come forward, rotate around, and it's just going to rest right there. And then these hands, they're just going to kind of splay out like this. This whole wheel section is just going to collapse down. The hands are just going to kind of sit in between those. Into a good stance right there. Okay. So now we're going to rotate this whole area, and it's just going to drop down. Okay, when we've done that, you're going to come over to the side here and just pull out these panels. Oh. Okay, so now we're gonna rotate these up out of the way so we can come over to this combiner port. Just wrench it into position right there. Now you want this 2 clicks from the full position, so like from here to right there. Now sadly, Scrapper does need a bit of parts forming, but it just makes the structure so much more sturdy. We're gonna take this piece off for now, and then we're just gonna open all of this up. So this is gonna go all the way as far back as it can. The cabin's just gonna lean back against it right there. This part right here is just gonna rotate down, and then this whole chunk will come in, and this will just stud into this gap. It's been left right here. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, this still moves, which is really inconvenient, which is where this piece here comes into play. It's going to go into this black part right here. It's going to stud in right there, and that'll keep this all in position. The next thing we're going to do is just rotate these parts out just slightly. Almost all the way, but not quite, so that way they can just go over these wheels and just kind of cover them up. Like that. And you have Scrapper, his arm mode. Can't stand, sadly, on his own just because of how much weight there's, but if you do that, you can kind of stand. But anyways, here he is with IX rollouts, Scrapper, and that's all I'm going to compare it with. So next up is Scrap Metal, and to transform him, we're going to want to start by just collapsing up the excavator arm. Not by too much, but just by that extra little bit. And the next thing we're going to do here is just take this joint and just open it up like that, just to make our lives a bit easier through the transformation. And this cab here is just going to flip back, and then this is also flip back. Just kind of opens up this whole middle section. Last thing you got to do is just untab it from here. You're going to swing down and sit on the side right there. So you can freely rotate like this, which is good. And then what you're going to do is, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, take this tread, rotate it until it hits about like right there. You want it like around this area. And you want that to be lined up like that, or else it won't work when you put it on the ports. And then for the rest of this, that's actually in the right position, so that's handy. Which would be, so this is the straight position. You want to go 3 clicks into position. So get that aligned up right there. This will about just come back here. And we'll get the rest of this properly aligned. We go into when we combine them all, but yeah, just get that tread there like that. Actually, no, it should be like that. You want to try and get these treads kind of in an equalish position. I think that's about right. Okay, that is Scrap Metal in his combined mode. Now, Hightower being a fair bit taller than the others, I had to zoom out. It's going to be a little difficult to show off, but what we're going to start by doing is just opening up the back here. And then just rotate this out to the side. And you want to loosen this the entire way. The whole rope should go down to its full length. Rotate that back into place. Okay, so there. Now we can start properly transforming this guy. Okay, so what we're going to do is, actually we need to leave that in that position. And the counterweights are bent. So what we're going to do is come down here, pull out this piece. That's where Buckethead's going to plug onto. And we're just going to want to disconnect these treads from here. They're on this little hinge, and that's going to be slightly rotated upwards. Which just gives you the clearance to put on Scrap Metal. So you're going to rotate the cabin right there. And then this whole tower section here is just gonna collapse up. And then this part here is gonna collapse up behind all that. And then this will just flip in right there. And here's Hightower in his combined mode. And I also forgot this, but here he is with the IX rollout Hightower. Okay, so next we got Buckethead, and let's get down to this. So we're gonna bring up the head here with a cabin. We're just going to split this chunk here back. This will just rotate down, and it'll just stud in right there. And if you're taking this, untransforming this, just get your nail into that little notch. So next thing you're going to do is collapse these up as much as you can, and then rotate the treads back until they're like that. And then we're going to want to rotate the hands down, this chunk down. Just going to do that to all of these. You just kind of want to get everything lined up. I know there's still the incorrect amount of fingers, which is supposed to be only 4. I have to look at the CGI model. There we have bucket head transformed. Simple but effective. This one's definitely going to take a little while, but let's get on to Scavenger. So the first thing we're going to do is just want to pull out the excavator arm all the way. It's fully extended like that, just so it gets out of our way. So next thing we're going to want to do is just disconnect him from there. And do this thing here as well. And then these panels will just rotate out of this double joint. Like that. Okay, next we're going to want to come over here, open that up. This should just give us the space to open everything up. We want to rotate these up, side, then down. Same thing on this side. Up, to the side, drop them down. And then we're going to bring down this piece. That's just going to come down as well. And then these will just slide out. Same thing on this side. Okay, so now what we're going to want to do here is lift this up, bring it back, rotate this hinge, bring this panel forward. So once again, same thing on this side, up, around, forward. Now this part is delicate and tedious as heck. It is so annoying, but it gives them a more accurate look, and I couldn't get these parts in red, sadly. I don't have those laying around. Okay, so what we're going to want to do now is come to the back of each of these panels, rotate this up, and it will just swing in and just clip in right there. Rotate these back down. Same thing on this side, up, clip in right there. Okay. Here we go. Oh, that was just a random piece. Okay, this is getting really chaotic, but we're gonna just lean this forward for now. Just let me raise the camera. There's space. There's gonna come over here. It's just gonna rest on the forearm right there. I'm gonna bring down this piece which keeps the treads from moving. So we're gonna move the treads like that. You can come over to here to these little latches, and these will just rotate to just let the treads move a little more freely, even though they're about gonna sit like that. Okay, so now we're gonna bring down this piece, bring these walls up, and then we can just spin the treads around. Same thing on this side, just spin the treads. Okay, pretty much we're getting on there on the home stretch. Just let me find something to bring them up on. Finally, we have a turntable, so this should make my life easier. I don't know why I didn't use this earlier. But yeah, we can just come around to here. And these will just rotate up around this chunk here for now. And then the arms here, I'm going to come to the bucket, split them, go further down the arm, split it, and I'll just open it. So Scavenger's arms will just split. I'm going to come to them, bring this all the way back, rotate it around. It's just going to sit like that, fold back, and then up like that. And we'll just move this to the side until it just bumps into everything. Okay, there. Same thing for this side. Just going to rotate this up, around, fold it. Bring all this chunk out of the way. It's just going to sit there. And then this chunk, this part right here, will just kind of cram itself in between all this, just to keep the arms from moving out of place. If I can do this right. There. See? Now the arms can't move down. Okay, so we want these to be positioned like that. And then we're going to come to the back here. Not surprised this part fell off. Now we're just going to bring this whole assembly, just tip it over like that. So what our plan is here, that's not the plan. Where did this go? Okay, so we're going to bring down this whole chunk. Just going to sit there. Bring back this, and these shreds will just wedge together. And this will come up. And you want these to kind of hide underneath like that, or else Mixmaster's weight will pull them down. So yeah, you're going to want to kind of get them in like that position. If you want to see the way the hinges are, they're kind of almost completely collapsed. It's very hard to show off. That's kind of what you want to get them like. Same thing for this side. You're going to want to just kind of shove them under like that. Then this whole chunk right here, just gonna do that on this little hinge assembly, and it's just gonna rest on top of the claws, or the buckets, arms, I don't know. Which is a little more accurate to my last one, because after looking at the CGI model, it's not just his arms that make up the arms, it's also a lot of other junk. I think it's a pretty good way of cleaning up the kibble. There is Scavenger at long last. It's combined. Actually, I forgot to do something. Nope, this part moved out of the way. Oh my goodness, I'll be back in a second. Okay, after a little bit of finagling, I got it done. We're going to come back here with these hinges, and they're just going to flip back up. Okay, there we go. There's Scavenger, all done. Oh wait, I'm not done with him yet. IX roll, wait, it's not transformed properly. IX roll at IX Devastator. Or, not Devastator, Scavenger. Okay, we can put this off to this rack there. Okay, lastly, let's do Mixmaster. And I'm pretty happy with this transformation. As you can see, this isn't the prettiest sight ever. Nor was it meant to be. But I'm okay with it. It doesn't look that good. Let's get to transformation. So first thing we're going to do is split the whole shell open. And then this one part will come down, so that way this can just rotate out of the way. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to come to these and just rotate this a little bit at the end. Doesn't do too much, but just frees up a little more clearance. So yeah, we're just going to have all this open. Now what we're going to do is flip down the face panels, just kind of rotate them to position, flip down the nose, and then jaws are just going to kind of spread out a little bit, like that, and this whole section will just hinge down. Okay, so what we're going to do is come to the ears, and they're just come all the way up, and shift down. And when you're transforming him, you need to shift these in, or else it's not going to work. I will create a detransformation video when I release the instructions for this guy. So same thing on that ear, and this whole chunk here is just going to push up as far as he can go. Okay, so next we're going to want to take in these face panels, and they're just going to rotate up and in. So again, up like that, and then into there. The nose will just come up, and you want all that to be kind of flush. So we're done almost his entire face. I'm going to leave these ears poking up for now. We're going to come under the jaw right here, rotate these, and these have a little bit of transformation too. You're going to want to rotate this chunk until it gets right there, and then this piece till it gets there. And that is one side of the jaw done. Same thing on this side. Rotate that out, this out. Okay. So this whole head's just gonna sit right there. We can come to the cab here and just fix whatever needs to be fixed. So we're gonna come here, and this whole chunk right here. Oh, that was not meant to happen. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this chunk here is kind of delicate if you don't do it properly. Okay, so that's what was supposed to happen. This is all tiles, and it just tabs into this part right there. So we're gonna bring down this. These are just gonna spread out like that. And then this chunk here, we are just gonna bring up, hold the smokestacks in, bring that down, and then we're bringing a parts forming bit, which is the vortex grinder, and this is just going to tab in right there. And then we're gonna bring an eggless assembly until we get this red piece here in the back of Devastator's head to just tab in. I think I about got there. There we go. It's just tabbed into the vortex grinder. Ears are just gonna fold back. These panels are just gonna kind of collapse around the drum. Okay, you want to make sure that doesn't break. And that is Mixmaster all day. Okay, before we can start with the actual combination, do a bit of prep work. We're gonna put payload and rampage together. And just give me a second. Okay, so this chunk right here, this will plug in like that. There's one Lego Devastator. All done. And similarly with High Tower and Buckethead. So this chunk right here, it's just gonna tap on right there into Buckethead. It's gonna sit about like that. And scrap metal. So we got these ports right here. This opened up spot. This can just slide in. Now, if you don't want to build scrap metal and you just want to leave this as a joint, just like scrapper, that's totally a thing you could do. There we go. Now we do a little more transformation in terms of scrap metal. We're going to bring down this arm just enough to get this cabin to pass by. I want to bring it a bit lower than I did. And just kind of get everything fitted into place from here. There we go. There's his left arm. Okay, so now we're going to take Long Haul, Rampage, Payload, bring up the camera, push stuff out of the way, just sit them down at the back here, take Overload. I think we want them at an angle like this. Okay, so that's got in place. And vice versa right here. Okay, there we go. Just want to make sure everything is sturdy, get all the feet properly oriented, make sure things don't split on you. I think aside from a few minor issues, should be able to stand up just fine. So as you can see, that's already looking pretty good. Okay. Not know why these two halves are different heights. Okay, I don't think I'm supposed to have the bend here. Okay, so you want this joint here to be completely straight. My bad. Okay, everything's still together properly. Just want to make sure that all stays nice and tight. This right there came in connected. But anyways, so if we're gonna see this port back here, spin this around. Where scavenger's gonna connect right here and in front here. And just bring him in. And it's gonna connect through. I think I'm missing this piece and this piece. So what we're gonna want to do is just tap that part on, back there, in the front here. Just tap that on. Now you're gonna want to hold him because he needs that to keep himself upright. And just want to try and get Scrapper onto here as quickly as we can. Scrapper's just going to tab into the hole in the arm. I'll try and demonstrate it better, just so that way I'm not holding up all of Devastator. Yeah, you can like splay the arm out a little bit. Okay, same thing with the other arm. So, okay, I can explain. So we got these pins right here, and when you fold up the arms, those ports get exposed. That is how we connect them. This arm, it's a little finicky because you kind of got payload in the way, and this will like 99% of the time come off. So honestly, you kind of just want to try and get this out of the way. Actually, I forgot a step of transformation. You're also going to need to bring this part back. Yeah, just try your best to just try and get this all locked into place. Okay, yeah, that's just gonna fall apart on me this time around. Kind of annoying, but it shouldn't be too hard to fix because this crane shank here needs to tap back into there. Okay, just give me a second while I get all this all fixed. Okay, so it would seem I had messed up on this arm's transformation. You want to bend the elbow an extra click. Just like that, just to get everything a little more loosened up. Also, it turns out, I don't know if you can see, but in there, that's where this tread connects. It's like next to no clearance for this part to sit in there. So I'm going to see if I can fix that, but just a heads up, if you can build this. Oh, it's gonna be a pain to fix. Okay, just let me do this. Okay, there we go. I got that put together properly right there. And let's see, he's becoming very big. Let's see if I can actually bring up the camera a little bit more. So these ONK panels, just going to rotate to the side a little bit. Like about like that. And then we can come in here, take Mixmaster. So I'm going to explain this just so I can do it without having to try and show what's happening on the camera, or that can happen. Okay, so Mixmaster is very finicky with this part right here, that it needs these parts to be rotated in order for it to fit. But what we're going to essentially do is, this part right here is going to tab in, if I can get the camera to focus, to this part right here. And these studs right here are going to tab in, and the back row studs back here. So what we're going to want to do is just kind of connect that in there. Just going to kind of droop. Of course. It's not something I normally do when I transform this, and of course I get paid back. Okay, you want this to just be dangling out. Okay, let's just get in here, get that connected up, hinge this up till it connects there, and there we go. There's Devastator. Okay, move him a little bit. Can't pick him up too big for that. As you can see, we got the face here. I didn't have enough for that right part for this eyebrow, so it looks kind of funny, but it's okay. So we've got Scrapper over here. He's got these wheels exposed. He's got the cover up right there. And quick note, I just realized I had to shift this down by like a single thing, a ring thing. I don't know what you call those. As you look over here, got the buckets, kind of the bulkier arm combiner ports as opposed to the original. Got some panels kind of lined up at the top here. Got the treads right here. Couldn't really hide those, so I kind of poking out the side there, but it looks okay. We got Overload actually creating the butt section of Devastator, the whole back. And then we got Rampage and Payload, not Skipjack and Payload, looking like the way they should, unlike a lot of other Devastators. This one actually looks really good in my opinion. As you can see, we got the blade in the back, sort of like Studio Series. That Rampage is kind of based off of that. So just realized this was here. And over here we got Lawn Haul, the leg looking pretty good. It's almost got the entirely right shape, just this cab right here is kind of bulking it up a little more than it needs to. Ooh. See, the thing I should note, any pressure on either legs or either arms will cause him to collapse. He needs these to stand. I'm not really sure a way to give you peace of mind with like a stand or something, but I'm sure some of you guys can figure that out. Yeah, over here we got Buckethead, who's actually relatively accurate to how he looked in the movie. We got the claws, the bucket parts, and we got Hightower's tread running down here like it should. Got the crane sticking out, maybe a bit too much, but it looks sacrifices you gotta make sometimes. Again, Scavenger's cabin here, kind of relatively out of the way, still kind of in the way, but a little more obscure than others, which is a good thing. And over here we got like me trying to replicate that ring that he had on his arm, the scrap metal. And a little design that I want to talk about. The only reason I got these two arms to be somewhat of a similar size, what I essentially did was I made Hightower, this portion of scrapper. I made scrap metal, just that part, that's his only use, and Buckethead formed up just a hand. And as you can see, I'll bring the camera up a little bit more. See, it's got the panels up there with the hoses coming out. If we come to the back here, we got the vortex grinder, and this actually spins, so that's pretty cool. Let's bring it back to the front and let's get down to articulation. So I'm only going to show off the face articulation because the rest of it I'm a little too scared to do, but like, you can open up his jaws, get it on a double hinge, ears can move forward and back, face can move a little bit. With the hands here, the front two can kind of move because they don't hold a lot of weight, but this back one holds a lot of weight. You also want to make sure that's flat or else it won't work. You don't get any articulation throughout any of this at all. Sorry for the cars in the background. You can actually get a lot of movement, just not with this piece in the cabin underneath. That needs to stay where it is. And this crane I just wouldn't suggest touching, but it's 100% articulatable. And these panels up here also on hinges, so you can kind of display those however you wish. But anyways, that's majority of what you can do, actually. I forgot to mention the vortex grinder here. You can see it kind of poking out between the drum shells, which is a lot more accurate than what it was. But yeah, this is the next day, of course. As you can tell, my voice doesn't sound as dead. But yeah, this thing's looking amazing. I love the way this looks. I was going to tear it apart right afterwards, but I don't want to do that anymore. Okay, so for comparison, here he is with a soda can. You can see it comes up to about his hand right there, so relatively big. Here he is with IX. Oh, that leg came off. IX rollouts. Devastator. I'll just have to put it on the side here. As you can see, there's this little guy, and here's mine, which towers above him, just like the rest of the components have. He's just so big, and like this thing just looks so small. And yeah. Also, you'll notice I have changed a handful of the colors around to get a little more accurate look for this. Let's set the point. And okay, so let's move on to the next thing. Here's with a minifigure. Minifigure's pretty small, only coming up to about the height of the hand. Here it is with the 2019 ATAB, so they're pretty similarly sized, if I don't say. It's got a similar structure. But yeah, I can't really plop that down beside it. They're both really big builds. Okay, so now we've got that done. Here he is with Jazz. He comes up to about again the shoulder side. Here he is with flat back. Get it. Just get him to just stand. Yeah, he's about comes up to the shoulder pads. Yeah, that is it for Devastator. So I hope you do like, share, and subscribe. It will significantly help my channel out, and if you want to see more like this, be sure to like the video as well, and also follow me on Twitter. I post stuff like this on Twitter. See y'all later.